Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. This is my bonus project for this month's Stamping Society tutorial, and I haven't been making videos for those, but when I was prepping this card, I actually prepped everything I needed to make a video and just ran out of time. It's a crazy, crazy time right now. So I figured I would show you how to make it. I mean, it's not rocket science or anything, but I thought you might appreciate seeing it. So you might think off the hop that one of my bundle's a mess, and you'd be right. You might think that I was using this stamp to do this card, but I'm not. And if you read my blog post, you'll see why I have strong feelings about not using that one. I chose to use a couple of different stamps. So there is this outline one. I'm lucky I didn't rip my stamp just there. This one, and I've had this mounted to a block for like a week planning to do this video. We are going to use this one for our flower image. So I think that's all we need. And if you're not sure what the Stamping Society is, then head on over to stampedaf.ca and you will see the blog post there with all of the details. There are a few different ways to get the tutorial each month. One, you can make a purchase with the demonstrator in your market, and in Canada, that would be me. And in Canada, that's a $33 order. You can join my team. My team always gets the Stamping Society tutorials for free. So there are a lot of perks to being on my team. And if you want to learn more, you can find out more at stampedaf.ca, or you can just send me an email. But let's get on with this card. So I've got 2 panels of Whisper White cardstock. They are both 4 by 5 1/4. One will be the inner matte, and the other is what we're going to be doing this on. I've got a gold matte, and this is the brushed metallic cardstock. And I will have the measurements for that, because that one, I believe, if this is 4 by 5 1/4, this is 4 3/8 by 5. Nope. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That's right. Okay, so let's get out a piece of grid paper. I'm just going to use some that I was using recently. So we only need 3 colors of ink. So you can join my team. You can purchase it outright for $9.25 in Canada, or you can get it free with a purchase. Those are the options. Squirrel. Okay, so I need some clear blocks here, and I want to apologize if you were waiting for the video that I promised last week. That is now been bumped to next week, because the people that are receiving the gift that I mentioned that I didn't want to spoil the surprise for last week still won't have received it. So I still don't want to spoil their surprise. So that is why it's not happening today. Okay, so let's use this one. Doesn't quite fit, so let's use this. You don't have to mount all your blocks or your stamps right away. I think I'm just going to put that one on here. Okay, so let's start. I've got my early espresso out, and to start, I'm going to be using this poinsettia. So I'm going to stamp it once at full strength and once stamped off, and I'm just going to rotate that so that it fills in those gaps. Now, the one thing I will warn you about is you don't want to just turn it like a quarter turn like I just did. You want to turn it probably the full way around so that you don't have those same petals as neighbors. Hope that makes sense. It does in my mind, but you never know. Now, when you stamp off the page like that, you don't want to just stamp again. You need to re-ink and stamp it up, because if I just do it based on that, I'm going to have some ink on the stamp and some on the paper. Like right now, if I were to stamp off, some is dark, some is light, because some of it is being stamped off and some is not. There. Sorry, my mat is a lot further away than I'm used to, so gotta check and make sure that I am still within the screen. And I don't think I was there when I was trying to explain that, so let me show you one more time. So if I stamp here, I can't go ahead and stamp off like that because, well, because some of it will be dark because it didn't get stamped off the first time. Okay, so that is good. And before I put my early espresso away, I want to take this little dotty thing. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I guess the little berries in the center. As I said, I wonder what it is. I figured out what it was. But I have a different plan for that. Isn't it funny how sometimes you can look at a stamp set and not really realize what it is right away? Honestly, I did not put 2 and 2 together that those were supposed to be the center of the flowers, the little berries. Duh. Okay, so I think I am done with the early espresso. We're doing cherry cobbler on the inside, so let's put this away before I make a right old mess. Clean this off. Clean this one off. This card does come together quite quickly. So you're basically creating your own designer series paper. And I did die cut 2 of the tiniest little poinsettias using cherry cobbler, and that will be this little guy. The other big thing that we need for this is those wonderful gems. And I am using the clear and gold ones. You can use the red ones if you want. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing with filling these flowers. I want to fill at full strength. I want to fill in with cherry cobbler. And then the ones that were stamped off the first time, I'm going to stamp them off the same way. Now, if you want your petals filled in a little bit more, you could use an aqua painter or a blend or something so that you're filling that in a little more. I'm okay with it. Kind of artistic. So clean that off. Now, for the shaded spruce and that leaf, I do have a bit of a trick. So I've got that leaf mounted. And what I am going to do is take some Post-it notes, and I am going to mask off my stamp. Because if I stamp it the way it is right now, it's going to cover up part of the flower, and I don't want that. So watch this. So what I'm going to do is that. Now, the first time I did this, my Post-it came off. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to leave it in the ink. So if you want to do it this way, that is another way to mask. Of course, it's so juicy now that it's not going to cooperate. But this is a good way to fill in just the area that you need so that you're not covering up the plant, the petals, like I did just there. I do find this leaf is a little bit too long to be able to do this. And I will tell you, when I didn't have a video recording my moves, it worked a lot better. So let's try this. We'll follow the natural corner of the ink pad. We'll forego the Post-it because it's really making a mess. So we'll get the natural corner of the ink pad. And if you'd like to clean it off in between so that you're only getting that good impression, by all means. The biggest challenge was that our Post-it was re-inking the stamp, which was not the goal. I'm showing you everything not to do. Now, I just realized there's one more spot. There's a flower here that doesn't have any leaves. We can't have that. Okay, so scrap the Post-it idea. This is working much better, but it is crucial that you get right in the corner of that ink pad. There we go. So let's get rid of this. And for the tag, I used, it's on the tip of my tongue, it is not a bundle that I have worked with very often for the tags. Where is it? Painted Poppies. And because Remembrance Day is coming up, I think this is going to be a very popular set. I actually just posted a creative challenge in my team group asking for Remembrance Day items. So I think this will be coming out. And because I saw it while I was trying to figure out an idea, here's one that I did last year using that bundle. Sorry, you're getting the reflection of my phone, but I used some of the DSP on that inner frame there. I embossed with the subtle embossing folder the back of the flower, and it was just a really pretty card. So keep that one in mind. Now, what was, oh, I was looking for a scrap of Whisper White was where I was going. So I've got a scrap from some work I was doing yesterday, so I'm just going to use that. Okay, and we're just going to do a little bit of heat embossing. If you don't have this bundle, one, you need it, and two, if you don't have it, you can substitute it with something else. There are plenty of great tag bundles. So I want my take your pick tool because I am going to put on some gems. And actually, I just realized it's in the other room because I have a very large card order that I'm working on. So we're going to improvise and just use scissors. And of course, the glue dot stayed on there. I will tell you right now, I am not a pro at this technique. I want to put my tag down because I don't want to put any gems where that's going to go. So let's set this aside. We need to keep this. I need some Versamark. I need my sentiment. And I am going to be lazy and not use my embossing buddy, but I do not recommend that. That is to say that I do recommend using your embossing buddy. I'm just being lazy. Hashtag lazy girl. Okay, so we'll let that cool off for a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, I am going to add some ribbon. And this is the gold shimmer ribbon. You like the little lead up to that. And then I have got the Pretty Peacock Old Olive reversible ribbon. So you can choose to have Pretty Peacock side up or the Old Olive side. It is totally up to you. I want that shimmery side on top. And I am going to just run this across. And actually, instead of doing purple tape or washi tape on the back, I'm actually just going to run a little line of Stampin' Seal. And then we know it's not going anywhere. So we'll add a little bit to the back as well. And you can leave that excess on. You can trim it off. It's totally up to you. It's not going to make or break anything. So now we are going to do the same thing. We're not going to use the Stampin' Seal because that just won't work. But we are going to use our washi tape or purple tape and just line that up. So I have some purple tape that's just in a tape dispenser. So I'm going to do that. And I thought this was a nice way to bring both the gold and the green into the card. You don't want to pull it so tight that it pulls in the middle like that just did. So just flatten it out a little bit. And we are now ready to adhere this to the metallic cardstock, and what I'm going to do is I do not like using liquid glue when I'm using metallic foil, because if you have the tiniest little slip, it makes such a mess and there's just no recovering from it. You will end up, now in hindsight, not a good idea to put the gems on first. If your glue slips, you will have a heck of a time trying to recover that piece of cardstock. 9 times out of 10, I end up replacing the cardstock, because if you try erasing the adhesive, it takes away the shine and it's just not good. Okay, now usually I don't use this much metallic on a card base. I would cut out the back, but I want to just pop a dimensional on there and then adhere this. But I also want to make sure that you can still read it. So I want to try and have it where the petals are not interfering with the letters. If they are, it's not the end of the world, but I like to add a few big dots, and then what I will do is I'll add just a little bit to a block, maybe a little bit more than that. Give it a little squeeze of water and then flick it on there so that I get some tiny little drops. Now, if you do want, you can add some of that shimmer mist in a spray bottle, but look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Now, the one thing that's missing right now is one of those wonderful gems in the middle. And that's because I wanted that Wink of Stella to dry. I don't want this popping off. But I hope that you enjoyed that. If you do create this, I would love to see it. And I thank you so much for watching. If this was your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button below. And we will see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.